Hi, so this is Team Alu presenting a project Chintu, which is causal and hierarchical intelligence for narrative tracking. So Chintu is basically a geopolitical knowledge graph where events are not just isolated but connected through influence entities and timelines. So the problem we identified was that today's system treats events as independent pieces of information, but in reality, global events are deeply interconnected. Every protest, policy, or a conflict is actually a consequence of a chain of events, and there is no system in existence that lets you explore these relationships interactively. So, we used Tiger Graph as a main technology where we could model the world events as a graph and then query this graph in natural language to see the chain of events that led to something. So the data set we used was GDELT, and it's a extremely massive data set and it updates itself every 15 minutes. So since March was a very happening month this year, so I took 15 minutes of data each day in March and uploaded that into the Tiger Graph Savannah cloud. And this is how much data we were able to get in under the limitations of the API credits. And then we pre-process these graph entities into events, topics, scores, and define the edges as relationships like involves, belongs to, and most importantly, influences, which is actually a impact score, right? And the backend was built using Flask, and the front end is a Next.js web app. Also, we ensured the responses are structured by actually predefining the GSQL queries. And the main three queries that we're using is causal exploration, narrative trace, and blended analysis. Where causal exploration basically defines or tells you what happened or what will happen based on the chain of events that is actually interconnected. Narrative trace will help you trace what led to this event, how this event happened. And blended analysis, as the name suggests, is basically a mixture of these two. So let's look at the demo. We also have added a newsletter uh, feature to the website so that we can actually convert this whole thing into an information hub. And we have more features planned as we go. This is the chart UI, and I have a sample query. So this query will be processed by our NLP pipeline. The events will be extracted from this, and the GSQL query will go to the Tiger Graph cloud, and the results will come back. We will process those results. The results will include the links to the article from the database, and our web scraper will actually extract the articles, send that text to our LLM API, which is we using OpenAI API, and that LLM will summarize everything over the chain of events and the articles and give us a very well structured answer. And we will also uh, display or visualize the happenings behind the answer, the logic using actual nodes that are uh, from the response from Tiger Graph. So this will take some time since the web scraper takes some time from to extract articles from the links. We'll we are planning to implement Redis caching in the future so that we can actually speed up the result response process. See, that's a really well structured answer we've got. Only three nodes were connected to the event, and they are shown pretty well connected in the graph itself. That's it for the demo. Since the data amount of data we very using is very small and limited to a very particular range of dates, and we cannot actually model everything because of the API credits. We could have covered more topics like Iran, US, Israeli wars, but so far only this much range of data we were able to cover. But still, it actually shows a really interesting application of graph databases. So that's it for the demo. Thank you.